Mocked as worthless, Earth's prototype ship obliterates an entire alien armada. The station hummed softly around her, the subtle sound of machinery and life support blending into a rhythm she had long grown used to. Today, however, there was no calm inside her mind. Today, the prototype ship, Eclipse, was to make its first official demonstration in front of the Galactic Council, a collection of alien races who had, for decades, dismissed humanity as weak, unworthy, and primitive. Alara ran her fingers along the sleek surface of the control panel. The Eclipse was not massive. It was not designed to intimidate with size or armaments. Its hull was smooth, streamlined, and compact. To any alien eye, it might have seemed almost laughably small. Yet within that small frame, it contained years of human ingenuity, adaptive AI, and unconventional technology the galaxy had never seen. "Commander Voss, the observers are online," a calm, female voice said from the comm. It belonged to Lieutenant Aaron Saul, the ship's communications officer. Aaron had sharp eyes and a sharper mind, capable of reading alien subtext in ways most humans could not. Alara nodded without taking her gaze from the stars. "Thank you, Lieutenant. Begin transmission to all council members." On the other side of the galaxy, alien representatives gathered in their sleek chambers, adorned with crystals, energy fields, and strange floating symbols. Each one had been briefed on Earth's technology. Most reports had been condescending: a small planet, a small fleet, and a single prototype ship that by all metrics should be irrelevant. One of the alien commanders, Thalric of the Sirath, scoffed. "They call this a demonstration. I expected something larger. This vessel is hardly a threat to a single patrol frigate." His assistant, a translucent, shimmering being named Crinnell, only shivered in the corner. "Sir, the humans are unpredictable." Thalric waved him off. "Unpredictable or not, one ship cannot change the fate of 1,000 vessels. Observe and laugh. Then we move on. Their arrogance amuses me." Back at Earth's command station, Alara felt the weight of those dismissive eyes. She knew the aliens had underestimated humans for centuries, assuming physical strength and sheer weaponry were the only measures of power. They had never considered the things humans were truly capable of: adaptability, creativity, and the willingness to solve problems in ways no other species dared attempt. The Eclipse slid silently out of the station, its engines glowing faint blue in the vacuum of space. It was a small ship, but elegant. Its design made it look almost alive, a subtle harmony of curves and angles that whispered of careful thought. Alara's crew manned their stations with quiet precision. "Systems check complete," said Engineer Taro Ven, a wiry man with a perpetual spark of curiosity in his eyes. "Hull integrity perfect, energy flow stable, AI ready for adaptive maneuvers." Alara gave a firm nod. "Very well. Begin the demonstration pattern, Eclipse. Let them see what humans can do." The ship's AI, a soft-toned voice named Iris, responded, "Acknowledged, Commander. Initiating demonstration sequence." Outside the viewing screens, the Galactic Council members leaned closer. Even the skeptics felt a flicker of curiosity, though they would never admit it. Eclipse began its slow dance through the stars. It did not fire weapons or launch missiles. Instead, it moved with a precision that seemed almost choreographed. Energy fields shimmered around it, shifting, adapting, bending light in ways that made the ship appear to vanish and reappear at will. "Interesting," muttered Crinnell, her shimmering form pulsing with what might have been fascination or fear. "The energy fields, they're moving unpredictably. But why? There is no attack," Thalric sneered. "A trick, nothing more, watch and laugh." But the humans were not performing tricks. The Eclipse was gathering data on sensors, on movement, on reaction times. Every motion, every shift, every subtle adjustment was a demonstration of adaptability. Humans had learned long ago that brute strength was rarely enough. Survival often required thinking differently. Alara tapped a few commands into the panel. Iris, execute Phase 2. The ship responded instantly. Small drones previously hidden inside the hull extended outward, spinning in tight formations. They were harmless, no weapons, no offensive capabilities, but they moved with unmatched coordination. Using light-bending technology, they created illusions, making the ship appear to multiply, vanish, and reappear. The alien observers were stunned. Even Thalric, who had so openly mocked humanity, leaned forward in his seat. "Impossible," he whispered. "One vessel, so many. How?" "Commander," Aaron said, eyes wide, "they're trying to send a warning. Their fleet, it's coming closer than expected." Alara's heart raced. The aliens had indeed sent a small reconnaissance fleet, assuming Eclipse was just a ceremonial show, but humans had prepared for this. "Maintain calm. Phase 3 is next." The Eclipse shifted, folding energy fields around itself, creating a mirage that made it seem as if it had multiplied into dozens of ships. The alien scouts, seeing what appeared to be overwhelming numbers, slowed, confused by what they perceived as a massive defensive formation. "Commander Voss," Taro said, "they're analyzing, but they can't determine which ship is real. It's chaos for them." Alara smiled, though her hands were steady on the controls. "Exactly as planned. The point is not to destroy, but to demonstrate what they cannot predict. Humans excel at thinking differently." Across the galaxy, Crinnell floated close to Thalric. "Sir, perhaps we underestimated them." Thalric waved his tentacle dismissively. "Underestimate? No, humans are interesting but hardly dangerous. Proceed cautiously." Back on the command station, Alara leaned back slightly. The first part of the demonstration was complete. The aliens had seen one thing. Humans were not like any other species they had encountered. They were unpredictable, clever, and willing to use their minds where others relied on sheer numbers. But Alara knew the real test was still to come. The aliens would soon see why humans never relied on raw power alone. For now, however, they were still watching, still laughing, still mocking. And humans were quietly preparing to turn that mockery into respect. Alara's eyes returned to the stars. She could almost hear them whispering, as if daring the galaxy to take humanity seriously. "Phase 2 will begin in 10 minutes, she said, voice calm but filled with quiet determination. "And this time, they will not laugh." The crew worked efficiently, each member fully aware of their roles. They had trained for this moment, not to kill or conquer, but to prove humanity's ingenuity in a galaxy that had always doubted them. Outside, the black void of space remained silent, endless, and indifferent. But within that silence, one small human ship glimmered like a jewel, ready to turn expectation on its head. And somewhere far away, the alien fleet began to adjust their sensors, realizing too late that the humans were far more dangerous than anyone had imagined, not because of weapons, but because of mind, creativity, and courage. Alara pressed a button and whispered, "Let's show them who we are." The Eclipse glowed brighter, engines humming with energy, and moved toward the approaching fleet with a confidence that no one, not even the most mocking alien, could ignore. The alien fleet loomed larger with every passing second, massive ships glinting coldly against the backdrop of stars. Their scales, crystals, and armored hulls reflected centuries of dominance. Yet, as they approached, they noticed something strange. One small ship, Eclipse, gliding calmly among them, seemed untouchable. "Commander Voss," Lieutenant Aaron said, her voice tight with excitement, "they're advancing faster than predicted. Sensors indicate multiple capital-class ships closing in on our sector." Alara didn't flinch. She had anticipated this. The aliens believed in overwhelming force, in intimidation by size and numbers. That had been their mistake. "Good," she said calmly. "Let them come. Iris, begin Phase 4, adaptive engagement." The AI responded immediately, voice smooth and confident. Phase 4 initiated. Tactical calculations in progress. The eclipse began moving in subtle arcs, weaving among the stars with precision. It wasn't attacking, not yet. Instead, the ship's energy fields pulsed rhythmically, bending light and scattering reflections, so that the alien scanners struggled to track it accurately. "They're trying to target us," Engineer Taro Ven said, eyes flicking between screens. "Their weapons are active, but they keep missing. They can't lock onto our position." Alara's lips curved in a small smile. "Exactly. Keep the decoys active, Iris. Make sure they see dozens of ships where there is only one." Outside, small drones emerged from hidden compartments within Eclipse. They moved in tight, synchronized formations, bouncing light off their surfaces to create illusions of additional ships. The aliens fired their energy weapons, only to find themselves striking empty space. "Fascinating," murmured Crinnell, hovering near the alien command vessel. "Their technology, it's so clever. And yet no weapons fire that can cause real harm." Thalric's antennae twitched. "Do not be distracted by trickery. A single human may be harmless, but the galaxy will not wait forever. Prepare to fire at will if needed." Even as the alien fleet braced for attack, the Eclipse continued its elegant maneuvers. Alara tapped her console. "Iris, begin data harvesting from their weapon systems. Analyze targeting patterns and power fluctuations." "Yes, Commander," the AI replied. Within moments, the ship's sensors had mapped the fleet's firing sequence, energy distribution, and movement algorithms. Humans had always thrived in chaos, and now Eclipse was learning every detail of the alien armada in real time. Aaron leaned forward, eyes scanning the data. "Commander, they're overconfident. They think their numbers make them unbeatable, but their fleet is predictable, rigid. Every movement follows protocol." "Perfect," Alara said. "Humans aren't predictable, that's our strength." Suddenly, a large alien cruiser lunged toward Eclipse, energy cannons glowing. The smaller ship dodged effortlessly, weaving and twisting as the AI anticipated the attack before it fully formed. The cruiser fired, but the lasers dissipated harmlessly into a redirected energy field, which made it appear as if Eclipse had multiplied into 3 identical vessels. "Admirable," muttered Thalric, "but a single trick cannot save them forever." Eclipse's crew didn't respond with weapons, they responded with creativity. Small drones shot forward, forming a lattice that interacted with the alien energy beams. Instead of firing back, the drones redirected the energy harmlessly into space, creating dazzling arcs of light that confused enemy targeting systems further. "Commander," Taro said, "their main weapons are being fed back to them. They don't understand how it's happening." Alara's eyes sparkled with determination. "Good, keep them guessing. Humans never fight blindly." The alien fleet hesitated. Some vessels attempted to retreat, others fired erratically, and a few just floated in confusion, unable to understand what had just occurred. Eclipse had turned their attacks into chaos, not with brute force but with precise, intelligent manipulation. Aaron's voice cut through the tense hum of the bridge. "Commander, sensors detect an attempt at coordinated maneuvers. They're trying to flank us. But their patterns are predictable. I've calculated a counter-strategy." Alara leaned closer to the console. "Tell me." "They will converge here, attempting a pincer formation," Aaron said, pointing to a star map. "If we move here," she gestured to a smaller area, "and initiate the holographic decoy grid, they will collide with each other in their confusion, not us. No damage to us, maximum disarray for them." Alara's hand rested on the control panel. "Execute, now." The Eclipse shifted, weaving gracefully into the designated space. Drones expanded outward in an intricate, almost artistic formation. Alien ships converged, only to find themselves entangled in illusions and misdirected energy streams. Frustration and panic rippled across the fleet as they fired wildly, their once coordinated maneuvers falling apart. Even Thalric felt a spark of doubt. "Impossible. One human ship causing this level of disruption. Crinnell floated near him. Sir, their coordination, their intuition, it is unlike anything I have seen. They are adapting. Yes, Thalric admitted reluctantly. They are adapting, but they cannot maintain this indefinitely. Prepare backup strategies. But Alara was already thinking ahead. Iris, begin Phase 5. Engage Adaptive Communications Override. The ship's AI hummed. Phase 5 active. Calculating interference patterns. Suddenly, communications within the alien fleet began to falter. Orders were delayed, commands overlapped, and confusion spread like wildfire. Eclipse had learned their language and patterns quickly, subtly redirecting their own communication signals back at them, creating misalignment in their actions. "They're disrupting our coordination," Thalric exclaimed. "How is this possible?" "They are humans," Crinnell said quietly, almost in awe. "They are clever beyond measure." Eclipse moved closer to the central point of the fleet, still dodging attacks with precision. It was not a fight of firepower, but a battle of minds and adaptability. Humans had never been the strongest species physically, but in intelligence, creativity, and collaboration, they were unmatched. Alara tapped a few more commands, initiating the final part of their plan. "Iris, prepare the visual synchronization array. Let them see the impossible." The Eclipse's drones aligned in perfect patterns, reflecting and bending light. The alien ships suddenly perceived hundreds of vessels, all moving in coordinated harmony. The fleet attempted to respond, firing at the illusions, only to realize that their own ships were colliding due to miscommunication. On the alien command bridge, panic began to take hold. "We cannot," Thalric's voice broke as more of his fleet faltered. "One insignificant human is dismantling our entire armada without destruction. Impossible. I have never seen intelligence used like this," Crinnell said, hovering close. "It is beautiful." Back on Eclipse, Alara watched calmly. "This is what humans do. We survive by thinking differently. We win by seeing what others cannot." The alien fleet, overwhelmed and disoriented, slowly began to retreat, their cohesion shattered. Eclipse followed briefly, then stopped, giving them a clear path to withdraw. Humanity had not destroyed a single ship. They had not fired a single lethal weapon, and yet the demonstration was complete. Aaron exhaled, relief flooding her face. "Commander, they're retreating. They're running." Alara nodded. "They've learned a lesson they will never forget. Humanity is not measured by size or firepower. We are measured by ingenuity, courage, and unity." Taro's grin widened. "And they thought we were primitive, mocked as worthless." Alara smiled faintly. "Let them mock no longer. In a few hours, the galaxy will start to see humans differently." The Eclipse turned and began the journey back to Earth, its small hull glinting against the stars, carrying the proof that humans could not be underestimated. As the crew looked out, they saw the alien fleet shrinking in the distance. It was not a victory of destruction, but a victory of intellect and clever strategy, a triumph that would echo throughout the galaxy. Alara's eyes lingered on the stars. She knew Part 3 awaited, the day humanity would be fully recognized, respected, and no longer mocked. But for now, she allowed herself a quiet moment of pride. "Prepare for Earth entry," she said. "Let's go home, team. We have much to share with the world." And as Eclipse sailed silently through the stars, the first step of its legendary journey was complete. The journey back to Earth was quiet, yet charged with a sense of triumph. The Eclipse glided smoothly through the black expanse of space, its engines glowing faintly blue, reflecting the calm confidence of a ship that had proven itself against overwhelming odds. Commander Alara Voss sat in the captain's chair, watching the stars pass by, each one a silent witness to humanity's quiet brilliance. Her crew was unusually silent too, but it wasn't fear or tension. It was awe, pride, and relief. Humans had faced an entire alien armada, and without firing a single lethal shot, they had come out victorious. "Commander," Lieutenant Aaron Saul said softly, breaking the quiet. "We've received messages from the Galactic Council. They want to meet us immediately." "It seems word has spread faster than we expected." Alara raised an eyebrow. "They've finally realized that humans cannot be underestimated. Very well, prepare for Council entry." Engineer Taro then chuckled quietly. "They're probably still scratching their heads, wondering how a single ship made them retreat." Alara smiled faintly. "That's exactly the point, Taro. Humans win by thinking, not by destroying." Arrival at the Galactic Council. The Eclipse entered the Galactic Council's orbital zone, a massive structure of floating platforms, energy conduits, and shimmering shields. Aliens of all shapes and sizes gathered to witness the arrival of the human vessel. Many still wore expressions of skepticism, though some showed curiosity. As the ship docked, Alara and her crew were escorted into the central chamber. The council members sat in tiers, their faces, or forms, reflecting centuries of power and authority. At the center, Thalric of the Sirath glared at the humans, though his expression was less mocking and more unsettled. "You humans," he said finally, voice measured but carrying the weight of his surprise, "you have done what was thought impossible. Your ship, your tactics, your success. Explain yourselves." Alara stepped forward confidently. "We did not fight with weapons or brute force. We fought with intelligence, teamwork, and adaptability. Our goal was not to destroy, but to demonstrate that humans are capable of thinking differently. That is how we survive and thrive in a universe that underestimates us." Crinnell, still hovering nearby, seemed mesmerized. "You, humans, are unlike any species I have encountered. You turn weakness into strength, confusion into strategy, and mockery into respect." Alara nodded. "Yes, and we believe this is the lesson the galaxy should remember. Strength is not always physical. Sometimes true power is in the mind, cooperation, and creativity." The chamber fell silent. The council members looked at each other, then back at the humans. For the first time, the beings who had considered Earth's fleet primitive began to understand that humans were not just another species. They were innovators, problem solvers, and survivors unlike any other. The new respect. Over the next few hours, discussions transformed from skepticism to admiration. Council members asked questions about the Eclipse, its AI, the drones, and the strategy the humans had employed. Every question was answered with clarity and pride, yet always emphasizing the value of collaboration and thinking differently. Thalric, who had mocked the humans at the beginning, now looked thoughtful. "I admit I judged you incorrectly. Your methods are remarkable. Earth has earned a place at the council." A murmur ran through the chamber. The news spread quickly. Humans, once underestimated, were now respected strategists and innovators. Aaron leaned toward Alara. "Commander, this is more than a victory. It's a change in perception for all of humanity." Alara nodded. "Yes, and it's only the beginning. We've shown the galaxy that humans are not to be mocked. We survive because we think. We thrive because we adapt. That is our greatest weapon, sharing the knowledge." Once formalities were complete, Alara and her crew returned to the Eclipse for a short debrief. Iris, the AI, displayed detailed data collected from the alien fleet. Every movement, every tactic, every energy pattern was logged. Humans could now learn from other species without violence, using intelligence and observation to improve their technology and strategy. Taro leaned over a console. "Commander, the data from their fleet is incredible. Even without attacking, we could have predicted their weaknesses. Imagine what humanity could achieve with this knowledge." Alara smiled. "And we will use it responsibly. Humans may be clever, but we are not reckless. Our goal is understanding, not domination. Knowledge is power, but wisdom is the real strength." Outside the viewport, Earth appeared, blue and green, serene and familiar. After all the chaos, the mockery, and the unexpected victory, humanity was returning home respected, not feared. and for the first time truly recognized in the galaxy. The celebration back on Earth, celebrations erupted. News channels broadcasted the arrival of the Eclipse and its crew. Children cheered, adults clapped, and scientists and engineers marveled at the ingenuity demonstrated. Humanity had shown the universe what it meant to overcome adversity without violence, to outthink, not outgun. Ilara addressed the world from the orbital command station. Her voice was calm but carried a weight of pride and inspiration. "People of Earth," she said, "today we have proven something important. We are not to be underestimated. Our strength is not measured by the size of our weapons or the number of our ships. It is measured by our intelligence, our creativity, and our ability to work together. We have shown the galaxy that humanity thrives not because we fight, but because we think." Her words were met with cheers that echoed across continents and oceans. Humanity had faced ridicule and doubt, and now it had earned universal respect. A new era, the Galactic Council officially granted Earth a seat among its members. Humans would now participate in interstellar diplomacy, trade, and research. But more importantly, the galaxy would never again dismiss humanity as weak or irrelevant. Thalric, now an unlikely ally, approached Ilara privately. "Commander Voss, you have changed my understanding of your species. I underestimated humans. I will not make that mistake again." Ilara inclined her head. "That is all we ask: respect, understanding, and the chance to contribute." Crinnell hovered nearby. "Humans are remarkable. You win not by destroying, but by outthinking. Perhaps other species can learn from you." Ilara smiled, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. "We hope so. Humanity is not perfect, but we never stop trying, never stop learning, and never stop working together. That is our way, and that is our strength." Looking to the stars as the Eclipse prepared for its next mission, Ilara looked out the viewport. The galaxy was vast, full of challenges and wonders, and humans were no longer outsiders. They were recognized as equals, creative, adaptable, and intelligent. Her crew gathered around, sharing smiles and quiet laughter. Each of them knew they had been part of something extraordinary, something that would inspire generations. Aaron glanced at Ilara. "Commander, what now?" Ilara's eyes shone with determination. "Now we keep moving forward. We explore, we learn, we show the galaxy that humans are not just survivors. We are innovators, problem solvers, and friends to those who choose cooperation over conflict. We are human. And we will never stop proving it." As Eclipse glided through the stars once more, Earth behind them, a new era began. An era where humanity's ingenuity was recognized, respected, and celebrated across the galaxy. And it all started with one small, underestimated ship that proved humans could achieve greatness, not with destruction, but with intelligence, courage, and teamwork. The galaxy had learned a powerful lesson: never underestimate humans.